There are exactly 3 things you expect on your birthday: cake, a badly wrapped gift, and maybe, a kiss from your boyfriend that doesn't taste like someone else's lip gloss. What you don't expect is to walk into a softly lit restaurant, candles flickering romantically, violin music floating through the air, and your boyfriend, my boyfriend, leaning across the table to kiss another Omega like he's auditioning for a drama series titled How to Ruin Someone's Life in 10 Seconds. I stopped walking, not because I wanted to, because my brain blue screened. My foot was still half in the doorway. The hostess smiled at me like I was about to have the best night of my life. The universe, meanwhile, was holding my beer and laughing. June's hand was on her waist. Her laugh was soft, familiar, too familiar. Oh, that's my chair, the one I'd reserved 3 weeks ago, the one I imagined sitting in while Jun gave me that crooked smile and said something cheesy like, "I'm bad at birthdays but good at loving you." Instead, he was bad at loyalty and excellent at being a disaster. For one long, silent moment, I just stared. No screaming, no crying, no dramatic plate throwing. Just me standing there thinking, wow, so this is how villains are born. Jun noticed me first. His face drained of color so fast I almost applauded. "Dao!" The Omega with him turned. She was pretty, soft features, similar build, which, honestly, rude. My mouth opened before my heart caught up. "Wow," I said, tilting my head. "At least you picked someone with my face shape. Love the commitment. Really sticking to a theme." The restaurant went silent. Like, movie-level silent. The girl blinked. Jun stood up so fast his chair screeched against the floor. "Dao, wait, this isn't..." I stepped closer, eyes flicking down to the hand still on her waist. "Jun," I said gently, because apparently I was feeling generous. "If you were going to cheat on me, you could have at least picked someone who didn't look like my reflection with better eyeliner." Her mouth dropped open. Jun finally let go of her like he'd just realized fire was hot. "Baby," he said. "Baby. On my birthday. Incredible." "It's not what it looks like," I laughed, out loud. "Okay," I said, nodding. "Then explain it to me like I'm 5. Because right now it looks like you're a clown and she's the birthday balloon." Someone at another table snorted. "Bless them." Jun reached for my arm. Big mistake. I stepped back instantly, the smell of him, my alpha, suddenly wrong. Sour, like milk left out too long. "Don't touch me," I said. Calm. Very calm. The kind of calm that scares people who know you well. The Omega beside him stood abruptly. "I didn't know he had a boyfriend." "Yeah," I cut in. Neither did I know he had the audacity. Jun looked panicked now. "Dao, listen, please, we can talk." "Oh, we're done talking," I said brightly. "I just wanted to stop by and thank you." He frowned. "For what?" "For showing me exactly who you are on my birthday. Saves time." I turned around before my voice could crack. Because here's the thing about Omegas like me, we learn early how to smile through humiliation. I walked out with my head high, my back straight, and my dignity held together by sheer spite. The moment the restaurant door closed behind me, the smile dropped, like it had been shot. I made it 3 steps down the street before my chest tightened, 5 more before my vision blurred, 10 before I stopped caring who saw. I leaned against the cold brick wall and slid down until I was sitting on the pavement, knees pulled to my chest, breath coming in sharp, ugly gasps. It wasn't just the cheating, it was the planning. The way I'd saved up for weeks. The way I'd rehearsed what I'd say when he blew out the candles. The stupid little hope curled in my chest that maybe, just maybe, this birthday would be different. I laughed again. This time it broke. "Idiot," I muttered to myself. Absolute idiot. I wiped my face with the sleeve of my jacket and immediately regretted it, because now I smelled like cheap fabric softener and betrayal. People passed by. Some glanced, most didn't. Good. I didn't want witnesses. I stood up eventually, because staying there felt like admitting defeat. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Jun. I declined the call, then blocked him, then blocked his number, his socials, his mother's cat's account, everyone. My hands were shaking, my throat raw, my eyes burning. "Okay, Dao," I told myself. You can either go home and cry into a pillow like a tragic side character, or I looked up at the neon sign across the street. Bar. Or you can make a bad decision and call it self-care. The bar smelled like alcohol, regret, and bad life choices. Perfect. I slid onto a stool and raised one finger. Something strong, I said. Surprise me. The bartender eyed my red eyes and blotchy face. Rough night? It's my birthday, I said flatly. He winced. I'll make it extra strong. A hero. I took the glass and downed half of it like it was medicine, which it was. Liquid courage. Liquid numbness. Liquid don't think about him. Someone sat down beside me. I noticed because the air changed. Cooler. Heavier. I didn't look at him at first. Didn't need to. The man had presence. The kind that made your omega instincts stir uneasily and your common sense whisper danger. Hood up, black clothes, broad shoulders, expensive vibe without trying. Oh no, that's an alpha. A big one. I took another sip. He said nothing, just sat there, silent, like a storm cloud nursing a drink. Good. Silence was fine. Silence wouldn't judge me for ordering my third glass. By the fourth, my mouth stopped listening to my brain. I just got cheated on, I announced to the bar at large. The bartender pretended not to hear. The alpha beside me tilted his head slightly. Encouraging. On my birthday, I continued. In public, with ambiance. Still no response. I waved my glass. You know what's funny? I actually wore his favorite shirt, like an idiot. Do you think he noticed? The alpha finally spoke. His voice was low, smooth, unfairly pleasant. He noticed, I snorted. Great. Love that for me. I leaned my elbow on the counter and stared at the glass like it might offer emotional advice. If I wake up dead tomorrow, I said solemnly, it's fine. The alpha turned toward me fully now. I felt his gaze like pressure. At least I won't be single, I finished. There was a pause. Then, softly, almost amused, he said, You're dramatic. I blinked, looked at him. Up close, he was unfair. Sharp jaw, dark eyes, calm in a way that suggested he was never the one losing control. Yeah, I said. I just discovered my boyfriend is a lying cheat. Drama is my coping mechanism. A corner of his mouth lifted. Barely. What's your name? He asked. I hesitated, then shrugged. Dow. Birthday idiot. William, he said. The name settled heavy in my chest. Nice to meet you, I said. If I say something embarrassing tonight, no, you didn't hear it. I'll remember everything, he replied calmly. I laughed. That was my second mistake, because something about the way he said it made my omega instincts hum. And that's how my birthday ended, with a drink in my hand, a stranger beside me, and absolutely no idea that my life had just walked into the bar wearing a hood. I woke up warm. Which was problem number 1. Problem number 2 arrived when I realized the warmth was human-shaped, very solid, and had an arm draped around my waist like it belonged there. Problem number 3 was the ceiling. The ceiling was artistic. High, white, with subtle gold inlays that whispered money instead of screaming rent overdue. This was not my apartment. This was not Jun's apartment. This was not any place that had ever known instant noodles or emotional instability. This was the kind of ceiling that had never heard someone cry at 3 a.m. I blinked. Once. Twice. I slowly looked down. A strong arm. Long fingers. Relaxed grip. Possessive in a casual, terrifying way. I followed the arm up. Broad chest, black shirt, unwrinkled, because of course it was. Sharp jaw. Dark lashes resting against pale skin. Oh. Oh no. My brain kindly offered a highlight reel from last night. Bar lights, strong drinks, a low voice saying my name like it mattered. And then, nothing. A tasteful blackout. Like my dignity politely excused itself. I swallowed. Very, very carefully, I whispered to myself, oh no. I accidentally slept with capitalism. The man beside me stirred. Capitalism opened one eye. I froze like a raccoon caught in headlights. His gaze focused on me slowly, lazily, as if waking up next to panicking omegas was a daily routine for him. It was not a daily routine for me. I stayed perfectly still, didn't breathe, didn't blink. Maybe if I pretended to be dead, he'd think I was a decorative pillow. He looked at me for a long second. Then his arm tightened, just slightly, around my waist. My omega instincts screamed. My common sense packed its bags and left. "You're awake," he said. His voice was deeper in the morning, calm, smooth, like he'd never made a bad decision in his life. I stared at him. "Unfortunately," I replied. A corner of his mouth lifted, barely, like he found that amusing but would never admit it. I pushed myself up on my elbows, then immediately sank back into the mattress because the mattress hugged me back. This bed had opinions. This bed was against my escape. I glanced around properly this time. Floor-to-ceiling windows, heavy curtains. A view of the city that said top floor and mind your manners. A bedside table with a watch that probably cost more than my existence. Okay, Dow. Breathe. He sat up, unbothered by the fact that I was internally screaming. The sheet slipped down just enough to reveal forearms corded with muscle. I looked away, respectfully, fearfully. "You don't remember?" he asked. "Sir," I said, "I don't even remember my PIN number right now." That earned me a soft huff of breath, possibly a laugh. Hard to tell with men like him. "I'm William," he said simply. The name hit me like a bucket of ice water. Not because it was unfamiliar, because it was very familiar. My head snapped back to him. "You're—" I stopped myself, lowering my voice like the walls might snitch. "You're that William?" He tilted his head. "That depends on who's asking." "The richest mafia boss in the city," I said faintly. "Cold, untouchable, ruins lives before breakfast." He considered that. "That description is exaggerated." I laughed. It came out a little hysterical. "Great," I said. "So I didn't heal. I upgraded trauma." His gaze softened. Not a lot, but enough that I noticed. "You're safe," William said. "Safe." The word did something strange to my chest. I scoffed. "Statistically unlikely?" "You woke up," he replied calmly. "In my bed, with clothes on. That should help your odds." I glanced down. Fully dressed, shoes gone, jacket folded neatly on a chair like it had manners. Oh, that actually did help. Still. "So," I said slowly, "just to clarify, we didn't, you know." "No," William said without hesitation. "You fell asleep halfway through a sentence about how cake is a social construct." I blinked. That tracks. He studied me. Not like Jun used to, quick, distracted, already looking for the exit, but like he was actually seeing me, taking inventory, measuring something invisible. "You're quieter than last night," he said. "I'm hungover and in the lair of a powerful alpha," I replied. "Give me time." His lips curved. This time it was unmistakable. "You're blunt," he said. "Trauma response," I shot back. I waited until he stood and moved toward the window before I made my move. Very smooth. Very subtle. I slid out of bed, wincing as my feet hit the cold floor. Tiptoed toward the door like I was in a spy movie, except I was wearing borrowed socks and fear, one hand on the handle. Freedom was so close. The door opened and immediately revealed two men in black suits standing perfectly still, staring straight ahead like they'd been rendered 5 minutes ago. NPCs. Actual NPCs. They turned their heads in sync. "Good morning," one said politely. I slowly closed the door. I turned around. William was watching me, arms crossed, expression calm, not surprised, not angry, just amused. "Did you enjoy the view?" he asked. "My fight or flight chose flight," I muttered. "It was ambitious." He took one step closer. "Sit." The word hit my omega instincts like a command straight to the spine. I sat, instantly, on the edge of the bed. My mouth moved before my pride could stop it. My independence lasted 14 seconds. William's eyes darkened with something like satisfaction. "Impressive," he said dryly. Most last less. I glared at him. You can't just say things like that. I can, he replied, and you listened. I opened my mouth to argue, then closed it. Because, yeah, I had. Silence settled between us. Not awkward, heavy, charged. You can leave, William said finally. No one is keeping you. I stared at him. You say that, but your house has boss music. His lips twitched. You don't owe me anything, he continued. You needed somewhere to sleep. I offered. And the guards? I asked. For my peace of mind. Right, I said. Nothing says casual one-night rescue like armed escorts. He stepped closer again, stopping just short of my personal space. His scent wrapped around me, clean, sharp, expensive. Alpha in a way that didn't shout, didn't push, just existed. You were hurting, William said quietly. I don't like seeing that. I swallowed. My jokes lined up in my head, ready to fire. None of them came out. Thank you, I said instead. His gaze held mine, steady, intent. You deserve better than what you were given last night, he said. My heart did something stupid. I stood up quickly, needing space, air, control. I should go, I said. Before I make another terrible decision. William nodded. I'll have a car take you. I paused, looked back at him. William? Yes, Dow. The way he said my name, slow, deliberate, sent a shiver straight down my spine. I really hope I never see you again, I said sincerely. He smiled, soft, dangerous, certain. I don't. And somehow, that terrified me more than waking up in his bed ever could. I should have left. That was the logical thing, the healthy thing, the not getting involved with a mafia boss thing. Instead, I was still standing in William's penthouse, wearing borrowed socks, holding my jacket like it might protect me from poor life choices. William watched me quietly, like he had all the time in the world, which, annoyingly, he probably did. Stay here until you're safe, he said. I laughed. Automatically. A reflex. Safe from who? I asked. My ex? My bad decisions? My dignity? All of them, William replied without missing a beat. I stared at him. You know when someone says something so calmly, so confidently, that your brain short-circuits trying to argue? Yeah, that. I don't need protection, I said, because pride is a disease and I'm a chronic patient. William stepped closer. Not threatening, not crowding, just present. You walked into a bar last night bleeding from the inside, he said softly. You drank like you wanted to disappear. Rude, accurate, unnecessary. I was having a moment, I muttered. You were alone, he corrected. I don't like that. My omega instincts curled. Unhelpful traitors. And what exactly is this? I asked. Charity? Pity? No, he said firmly. An arrangement. I narrowed my eyes. Oh, a deal. That's comforting. Nothing has ever gone wrong with a mafia deal. He almost smiled. You stay, William said. You recover. No one touches you, no one bothers you. When you're ready, you leave. And the catch? I pressed. There is none. I scoffed. That's a lie rich men tell before the fine print eats you alive. His gaze softened. You don't owe me your body, your loyalty, or your silence. I swallowed. Then why? I asked quietly. William's voice dropped. Because I want you safe. My heart did that stupid flutter again. I hated it. Fine, I said after a moment. But if this turns into a villain origin story, I'm haunting you. Deal, he said. I agreed. Suspiciously. I expected rules, curfews, surveillance, maybe a handbook titled How Not to Die in a Mafia House. What I got instead was breakfast. A very rude breakfast. A table longer than my future, set with plates I was afraid to touch. Fresh fruit. Eggs that looked like they'd been emotionally supported. Bread that definitely had a therapist. I sat down slowly, like the food might attack me. William took the seat across from me, already composed, already unreadable. I poked a piece of toast. Did you season this with money? I asked. Why is it delicious? That's butter, he said. Suspicious, I muttered, then took a bite. Oh, wow. My soul left my body briefly. This toast has no right to be this good, I said. I feel betrayed by my own kitchen. William watched me eat, quiet, attentive. He poured me tea without asking. Noticed when I hesitated before reaching for something and slid it closer. No grabbing, no commands. Just care. It unnerved me. You're being very calm, I said. Should I be worried? No, he replied. You're not a threat. Wow, I deadpanned. That's the nicest thing anyone's said to me this week. His lips curved. Just barely. Later I noticed things as the morning went on. How he walked slightly behind me, like he was guarding my blind spots. How his voice lowered when staff passed, not hiding me, but shielding me. How he never once made me feel owned. I hated how much I liked that. It happened when I was mid-sip of tea. My phone buzzed on the table. Jun. The name alone made my stomach twist. William noticed immediately. His gaze sharpened. You don't have to answer, he said. I stared at the screen. Jun's calling felt like poking a bruise just to see if it still hurt. Spoiler, it did. I want to, I said. I hit accept, and because the universe hates me, I accidentally hit speaker. Jun's voice filled the room. Dow, thank God, you finally answered. William's posture changed. Subtle, dangerous. I'm sorry, Jun rushed. I messed up. It didn't mean anything. I was confused. Confused? I echoed. Jun, you were kissing her like she owed you rent. I was drunk, he said. So was I said, and I didn't cheat. Silence, then sniffing, crying. Oh my God. I miss you, Jun sobbed. Please come home. I leaned back in my chair. Say sorry louder, I said sweetly. My new emotional support mafia is listening. William's eyes snapped to the phone. The room temperature dropped 10 degrees. Who is that? Jun demanded. My host, I said. He has better toast. Jun scoffed. You're staying with someone else already? William leaned forward, resting his elbows on the table. He spoke for the first time. Do not raise your voice at him. Jun froze. Who are you? He asked, suddenly cautious. William smiled, the kind of smile that ends empires. You don't matter, William said calmly. That's all you need to know. Jun's breathing went ragged. Dow, listen to me! No, I said, voice steady now. You listened enough last night. To her. He said, I made a mistake. Yes, I agreed. And now you're calling me to make it my problem. I hung up. The silence afterward was thick. I realized my hands were shaking. William stood, walked around the table, stopped in front of me. He didn't touch me. Just knelt so we were eye level. You did well, he said quietly. My throat tightened. I feel stupid. You're not, he said. You were loyal. He wasn't. I laughed weakly. Wow, validation. In this economy? He reached out then. Slow, careful. Gave me time to pull away. I didn't. His hand rested over mine. Warm. Steady. If you stay, William said softly, no one will ever make you feel small again. I looked at him. At the calm strength, the certainty, the dangerous promise wrapped in kindness. You're terrifying, I said. His thumb brushed my knuckles. I'll be gentle, he replied. Unless someone hurts you. My omega instincts purred. My brain screamed. And somehow, for the first time since my birthday, I didn't feel like I was falling. I felt held, which was infinitely more dangerous. Returning to my apartment felt like visiting a crime scene. Nothing was technically broken, but everything felt violated. The couch where Jun used to sprawl like he paid rent. He didn't. The mug he claimed was ours. It was mine. The air itself still smelled faintly like him, cheap cologne and audacity. I told myself I was only here to grab my things. Clothes, documents, dignity scraps. In, out. No drama. The universe once again disagreed. Jun was sitting on the edge of my couch when I opened the door, elbows on his knees, face carefully arranged into repentant boyfriend number 3. He looked up like he'd been waiting for me all day. "Dao," he said softly. "You came." I stared at him, then smiled. "Aw," I said. "You came," like a chewing gum stick to my slipper. His face twitched. "I just wanted to talk," he said, standing up slowly, hands raised like I was a wild animal. "I've been worried about you." "That's funny," I replied, stepping inside and setting my bag down. "You didn't look worried when your tongue was in someone else's mouth." He winced. "I told you. I was confused." "Jun," I sighed, slipping past him toward the bedroom. "You weren't confused. You were horny and unethical." "I love you," he blurted. I stopped, turned around slowly. "That," I said calmly, "is the most offensive thing you've said today." His eyes went shiny. "Tears." "Oh no, not the tears." "I made a mistake," he said. "I'll do anything to fix this." His fingers closed around my wrist, every muscle in my body locked. I snorted. "Great. Start by leaving." He reached for me. "Bad idea." "Don't," I warned, voice flat. "I just want you to listen." I yanked my arm back, heart slamming against my ribs. "Let go," I snapped. His grip tightened, and something in the air shifted. The sound came first, low, smooth, expensive. A car engine idling outside like a predator purring. Jun frowned. "Do you have company?" Before I could answer, the front door opened behind me. Heavy footsteps. Then silence. The kind of silence that presses down on your spine. I turned. Black suit. Perfect cut. Long coat. Calm posture that screamed control. William stood in my doorway like death had hired a stylist. 2 steps behind him, guards fanned out, blocking the exits with professional indifference. Jun's grip loosened. "Who the hell is that?" he demanded, voice cracking. I exhaled. "Oh." He came. My heart did something deeply inconvenient. "My rebound," I said lightly. "He's rich and morally ambiguous." William's gaze flicked to my wrist, then to Jun's hand. The temperature dropped. "Release him," William said. Not loud, not angry, certain. Jun laughed nervously. "This is between me and my boyfriend." William took 1 step forward. Jun let go immediately. "There it is." I rubbed my wrist, adrenaline buzzing under my skin. Jun backed away. "Who are you?" William didn't look at him. He looked at me. "Are you hurt?" he asked. I blinked. "No," I said. "Just annoyed." His eyes softened. Just a fraction. Then he turned back to Jun. "Touch him again," William said calmly, "and lose the hand." Jun paled. You can't just threaten me." William tilted his head slightly. "I can, and I will." My brain short-circuited. Because, listen, I was in danger, yes. But also, that was hot. I leaned closer to William and whispered, "I hate that I'm blushing. I hate it so much." His mouth curved. Barely. Jun sputtered, "Dao, this guy is crazy. You don't know him." "I know," I said cheerfully. "That's the appeal." William placed a hand on my lower back. Possessive, protective, solid. Mine. The realization hit me like a punch. Jun's voice rose. "You're making a mistake." William spoke over him, voice smooth as steel. "You forfeited your right to speak to him the moment you betrayed him." Jun laughed, sharp and ugly. "You think he'll stay with you? Omegas like him?" I felt William's hand tense. Before I could stop myself, I stepped forward. "Omegas like me," I said softly, "don't forgive cheaters." Jun looked between us, panic setting in. "This isn't over," he hissed. William smiled. "Yes," he said. "It is." Jun fled, actually fled, out the door, past the guards, gone. The apartment felt smaller without him, cleaner. I sagged slightly, adrenaline crashing. William turned to me immediately. "You shouldn't have come alone," he said quietly. "I didn't plan on a hostage situation," I muttered. He brushed his thumb over my wrist, checking gently. The touch made my breath hitch. "I won't let him near you again," William said. I looked up at him. "You keep saying things like that," I said, "and my therapist would have questions." His gaze held mine. "I don't make promises lightly." Silence stretched between us. Then I laughed. "I came here for socks," I said, "and now my ex thinks I'm dating the devil." William leaned closer, voice low. "You're under my protection now, Dow." My Omega instincts curled tight. "You say that like it's permanent." "It can be," he replied. My heart stuttered. I swallowed. "Okay," I said carefully. "Just so we're clear, I'm sarcastic, emotionally unstable, and prone to making jokes in life-threatening situations." William's lips brushed my temple as he murmured, "All flaws I'm willing to keep." I froze. Oh no. This wasn't a rebound. This was a claim. And judging by the way my body leaned into his without permission, I was already in too deep. I realized my heat was coming the same way I realize most bad things in my life. Too late, with symptoms, and absolutely no dignity. It started with warmth. Not the cozy kind. The why does my skin feel like it's betraying me kind. My thoughts went fuzzy around the edges, like my brain had been gently wrapped in cotton and bad decisions. I was standing in William's kitchen, pretending to be a functional adult, holding a glass of water I had already forgotten to drink. Something was wrong. I shifted my weight, then again, then pressed my thighs together and immediately regretted being alive. Oh, no. No, no, no. I inhaled sharply, and that was mistake number 2, because the air tasted different. Sweeter, thicker, like my own scent had turned against me. Heat. Right now. Of course. Absolutely not, I muttered. I did not schedule this. William looked up from the counter. The moment his eyes met mine, I knew. His pupils dilated. His posture shifted, not aggressive, not sudden, but alert, focused, like a predator noticing movement in tall grass. Oh, God. He took one step closer and paused. The air changed. His scent brushed against me, cool, grounding, pine and steel, and my Omega instincts lit up like they'd been waiting their whole life for this exact moment. I backed up instantly. "No, no, don't smell me like that," I said, pointing at him accusingly. "I'm not a candle." William stopped. Fully. Hands relaxed at his sides. "Your heat started," he said calmly. "Yes," I snapped, "against my will." "You should sit," he said gently. "I should flee the country," I replied, but my knees wobbled, traitors that they were. William was there in a second, not touching, just close enough that I felt supported without being trapped. "I've got you," he murmured. My brain melted a little. That was unfair. "I don't need," I started, then swallowed hard as another wave hit. "Okay, I need several things, pants being one of them." He guided me toward the bedroom with infuriating ease. No rushing, no commanding, just presence. By the time I was sitting on the bed, breathing like I'd run a marathon I never signed up for, William was already moving with quiet efficiency. He returned with a tray. Meds, water, soft blankets, pillows, things that looked suspiciously like comfort items. I stared, then stared harder. "Why do you have emergency Omega supplies?" I demanded. He didn't even hesitate. "Because I don't lose what I want." My heart skipped. I hated that my body liked that sentence. "You're dangerously prepared," I muttered. "I'm careful," he corrected, kneeling in front of me. "Take these." I eyed the pills. "They won't knock me out, will they?" "No," he said. "They'll ease the edge. You'll stay lucid." "Great," I sighed. "I get to be aware of my suffering." He brushed his thumb lightly over my knee, a grounding touch, nothing more. "I'll stay," he said quietly. "I won't touch you unless you ask." That helped. More than I wanted it to. Hours blurred. Heat is not sexy. Heat is uncomfortable, humiliating, and deeply inconvenient. My body wanted things my pride absolutely did not approve of. William stayed the entire time. He adjusted the blankets when I kicked them off. brought water before I realized I needed it, sat close enough that his presence anchored me without overwhelming my senses. At one point, I slumped sideways, forehead resting against his shoulder. "Sorry," I mumbled. "This is deeply unflattering." He didn't move. "You're beautiful," he said softly. I groaned. "Don't say that during hormonal distress. It feels illegal." His breath huffed against my hair. "I mean it." That was dangerous. When the worst of it passed, I lay back against the pillows, exhausted, raw, and emotionally exposed like a peeled grape. "This," I said weakly, "is why Omegas commit crimes during heat." William smiled faintly. "There's something we should discuss," he said. I squinted at him. "If it's about my dignity, it's already dead." "The safest way to stop interference," he continued, "is to claim you publicly." I blinked. "Excuse me?" "As my mate," he clarified calmly. I stared at him. "So," I said slowly, "your solution is become your boyfriend?" "Mate," he corrected. I snorted. "That's just boyfriend with fear and paperwork." His gaze softened, something warm and sincere breaking through the steel. "I would protect you either way," William said. "But this gives you safety. Permanence." My chest tightened. "And what do you get?" I asked quietly. His eyes held mine. "You," he said simply. I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because if I didn't, I might cry. "You're insane," I told him. "Possibly," he agreed, "but I would be yours." The room went still. Heat, pheromones, exhaustion, all of it pressed me thin. "Fake," I said carefully. "Just for safety." "For now," William replied. I exhaled. "Okay," I said, "but if this blows up my life, I'm haunting you." He leaned in, pressing a soft kiss to my forehead. "Then I'll keep you close," he murmured. "Forever if you let me." My Omega instincts purred. My common sense fainted. And just like that, my fake relationship with a Mafia Alpha began. During heat, in his bed, with absolutely no warning label. The thing about officially fake relationships is that they stop feeling fake at the worst possible time. For example, midnight, quiet house, soft lighting. William sitting on the edge of the bed with his sleeves rolled up, looking less like a mafia boss and more like a man who hasn't slept properly in years. That should have been my first clue. We weren't doing anything dramatic, no arguing, no tension, just existing in the same space like two people who had accidentally built a routine. I was lying against the headboard, scrolling through my phone, pretending not to watch him from the corner of my eye. William stared out the window, silent, thoughtful, heavy. "You're thinking very loudly," I said. He glanced back at me. "Am I?" "Yes," I replied. "Your shoulders do that thing when you're spiraling." "I don't spiral." "You brood," I corrected. Aggressively. That earned me a faint smile. Progress. "I wasn't always like this," he said after a moment. That made me pause. "Like what?" I asked. "Careful," he replied. I tilted my head. "You run a criminal empire. Careful feels optional." His gaze darkened, not with anger, but memory. "I lost someone," he said quietly. "A long time ago." My joking instinct sat down politely and waited. "I trusted the wrong people," he continued. "I thought attachment was strength." "And?" I prompted gently. "And they used it," he said. "I survived. They didn't." The air felt heavier. I swallowed. "So you decided never to get attached again?" "Yes." I considered that, then nodded. "So you're emotionally constipated. Got it." He stared at me, then actually laughed. Not a smirk, not a huff. A real, surprised laugh. I blinked. Oh my God. I unlocked a new achievement. His shoulders loosened. "You're impossible." "And yet," I said, tapping my chest, "here I am. Alive. Thriving." He looked at me differently after that. Softer. Like something in him had shifted. The rumors hit 3 days later. I knew because people stopped smiling at me. Not openly hostile, just that subtle shift. The way conversations paused when I walked into a room. The way Omegas looked at me like I'd committed a crime against decency. I checked my phone. Messages. Whispers. Screenshots. He's sleeping around. Climbed into the Alpha's bed for power. Typical Omega behavior. I laughed when I read them. Not because it was funny, because if I didn't, I'd break. William noticed immediately. He always did. "What happened?" he asked. I shrugged, tossing my phone aside like it meant nothing. "Nothing new. Just my reputation dying publicly." His eyes sharpened. "Show me." I hesitated, then handed it over. He read everything, slowly, carefully. By the time he finished, the room felt dangerous. "Who did this?" he asked. "My ex," I said lightly. "He's obsessed with me like I'm a bad habit." William stood. That was worse than him yelling. "I'll end this," he said. "No," I snapped, sharper than intended. "Don't." He turned back to me, surprised. "I can handle rumors," I said. "I can't handle you destroying half the city over me." His jaw clenched. "They're attacking you." "I know," I said quietly, "and it hurts." There it was, the truth slipping out. William crossed the room in 2 strides and knelt in front of me. His hands were warm when they cupped my face. "They're wrong," he said firmly, "and they will learn that." I laughed weakly. "You sound very confident for someone dating a PR nightmare." "You're not a nightmare," he replied. "You're brave." That almost broke me. It happened later that night. I thought I was fine, I really did. Until I wasn't. The shaking came out of nowhere, my body betraying me like it always does when I'm tired of being strong. William didn't hesitate. He pulled me against his chest, one arm solid around my back, the other cradling my head. I pressed my face into his shoulder, breathing him in like oxygen. "Hey," he murmured, "I've got you." I laughed shakily. "If you're going to ruin my life, at least do it romantically." His hand tightened just slightly. "I will ruin you gently," he said. I froze. That sentence, I whispered, should terrify me. But it didn't. He tilted my head up, resting his forehead against mine. "You don't have to be strong here," William said softly. "You don't have to perform." My chest ached. "I don't know how to stop," I admitted. "I'll hold you until you learn," he replied. I closed my eyes, let myself lean fully into him. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like I was fighting alone, which was terrifying. Because somewhere between rumors, laughter, and quiet confessions, my fake relationship had crossed into something dangerously real, and I wasn't sure either of us knew how to step back anymore. I used to think birthdays were cursed. Now I know it was just Jun. The confrontation happened in broad daylight, which honestly felt rude. If someone is going to try to ruin your life, the least they can do is wait until after sunset. I was outside my old apartment building, yes, the same emotional crime scene, because I still hadn't changed my mailing address. Growth takes time. That's when June showed up. Not alone, of course. He had backup. 2 alphas I vaguely recognized. The kind with loud confidence and empty eyes. The kind who thought standing behind someone automatically made them dangerous. June smiled like he'd practiced it in the mirror. "Dao, we need to talk." I sighed. "You brought friends. How brave. Did you coordinate outfits, or is beige just the personality?" One of them scoffed. Jun's smile twitched. "You embarrassed me," Jun snapped. "You ran off with another alpha." "I walked away," I corrected. "You cheated. On my birthday. Chronologically, you're the villain." He stepped closer. Too close. "I can fix this," he said. "You don't belong with someone like him." That was when I heard the car. Low engine. Controlled. Expensive. Every head turned. This is my favorite entry. Black sedan. Polished like it drank fear for breakfast. The door opened and William stepped out, calm and devastating in a tailored coat, guards moving around him like gravity had opinions. Jun went pale. I smiled. William's gaze found me instantly, checking, measuring, grounding. Then it slid to Jun and hardened into something sharp and cold. You brought company, William said mildly. June swallowed. He is here? I didn't hesitate. I stepped forward, putting myself between them before anyone could stop me. You cheated on me on my birthday, I said clearly. Now I'm upgrading permanently. June laughed nervously. Dao, move! Let the adults talk. William's presence flared behind me. Not loud, not explosive. Absolute. Step away from him, William said. June puffed up. You don't own him. William took one step forward. The street seemed to hold its breath. I do now, he replied. The world went very quiet. June's backup shifted uneasily. One of them actually took a step back. Smart. William's hand settled at my waist. Protective, certain, real. June's voice cracked. You can't just claim him like that. I can, William said calmly. And I am. I whispered, this is very dramatic, even as my knees threatened mutiny. William leaned down, lips near my ear. Stand still, he murmured. I've got you. My Omega instincts purred. My common sense packed a bag and left the country. Jun snapped. You think this is real? He'll get bored of you. William's gaze didn't leave Jun. I don't discard what I choose. William turned to me fully, lifting my chin gently so everyone could see. His voice carried, steady and unyielding. Dao is mine, he said. Not as a convenience, not as a shield, as my mate. Gasps rippled through the onlookers. Phones came out. Whispers ignited. I blinked up at him. You sure? I whispered. I talk too much. His thumb brushed my jaw. That's my favorite part. June looked shattered. The guards stepped forward. June's backup scattered like they'd suddenly remembered dinner plans elsewhere. William didn't even look at them again. He took my hand. Solid, warm, anchoring. Let's go home, he said. Later, much later, there was cake. Actual cake. Soft lighting, no crowds, no eyes, just us in William's penthouse, candles flickering gently like they knew better than to be dramatic tonight. I stared at it. Chocolate. My favorite. You remembered, I said quietly. I remember everything about you, William replied. I laughed softly. Last year I cried on my birthday. This year I'm dating the Mafia. He leaned in, pressing a kiss to my temple. You're my mate. I swallowed. Emotion crept up like a traitor. Okay, I said, but if you ever cheat, I'll burn your empire down myself. William smiled, dangerous, devoted. Deal, he said. We sat together after, legs tangled, my head against his shoulder, while the city glowed beneath the windows like it finally approved of my life choices. William didn't rush me, didn't crowd me, just existed beside me with the steady patience of someone who had decided and would not be moved. I thought about the version of myself from a year ago, the one who apologized too much, the one who laughed things off because it was easier than asking for more. That Dao would never have believed this ending. He would have been wrong. William brushed his thumb over my knuckles. What are you thinking about? How weird it is that I feel safe, I admitted. Safety isn't weakness, he said. I know, I replied. It just took me a while. Silence settled, warm and unafraid. I wasn't waiting for the other shoe to drop. I wasn't bracing for loss. I was just here, with him. And for once, that was more than enough.